On Radio Zindagi 1550 AM, I'm RJ Vijaya. Hello and welcome to Neurodiversity with Dr. Banerjee, brought to you by Landmark College. George Evans aptly said, every student can learn, not just on the same day and in the same way. Well, that philosophy is front and center at Landmark College, the college for students who learn differently, including those with a learning disability like dyslexia, ADHD, autism, or executive function challenges. My guests on the show delve on how schools and colleges are addressing neurodiversity today. Joining me is Dr. Manju Banerjee, Landmark College Learning Disabilities and Neurodiversity Ambassador at Large, and Sandra Fischler. She's the director of Landmark College Success Center, representing Landmark College in the California Bay Area, right here in San Mateo. Welcome, ladies. I'm so delighted to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you.
So let's begin, Dr. Banerjee. When a parent, and Sandra, feel free to jump in as well if if that anything resonates with you and you want to talk about it. So when a parent really faces this diagnosis of neurodiversity in their child, it takes a minute for them to come to terms with it. So what should parents really be aware of regarding, the supports for neurodiverse students in schools and colleges? Dr. Banerjee?
Sure, that's a great question, Vijaya. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk about legal rights, because that is something parents really need to be aware of.
Yeah.
And legal, unfortunately, uses the word disability. So for just this section of the interview, I will talk about disability and the legal supports that are bestowed on individuals with disabilities as a result of their particular label, if you will. Not something I like doing, but
yes,
it's really important for parents to understand that public institutions of education are guided by both federal and state laws that protect the rights of individuals who learn differently, as you said, LD, ADHD, autism, and so on. So in the school, the law that typically provides protection to students who learn differently is known as Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. Go into a lot of details about it, but I want parents in our audience to know about the 4 tenets of IDEA. Number 1 is the free, appropriate public education, or FAPE. That means every child, no matter your disability, is entitled to free, appropriate public education. Number 2 is child find. That is, it is the responsibility of the school to identify the child, diagnose your child, and determine if the child is eligible for special education. And they will then get either a IEP, individual education program, or a 504 plan, and so on. Some terms that I'm sure the parents in my audience are familiar with. But number 3 is procedural safeguards. This is like a statement of parental rights. So for example, parents have a right to be notified of any meeting taking place regarding your child. They have a right to see the records and the files that are that have your child's name, so to speak. And then the 4th one is due process. And due process is that formal procedure that is often used in resolving disputes or disagreements between a school district and parents, or a particular school and parents, and so on. So this was the school side of the picture.
Right.
Now in the college side, the law that protects neurodiverse individuals, or as I said, the law uses the word disability, is the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay. Oh, that's only for college, not for schools. That's for college.
Well, the school has what's called Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. But here's the big difference, and I'm so glad you asked the question. IDEA is about success in school so
Yeah.
that child, your son or daughter, can meet the requirements of the general curriculum. So it's about success.
Yeah.
ADA is a non-discrimination law. It's a civil rights law. So it is about equal access, not necessarily success.
Okay.
So how is equal access granted? It
Yeah.
is granted through accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
So what colleges do to determine reasonable accommodations is to look at what's called the disability documentation. And this concept of disability documentation has really morphed a lot over the years.
I see.
But it involves diagnosis, assessment, and diagnosis. And what is assessment and diagnosis? So really, assessment is the process that schools and colleges go through in collecting information about the particular individual that can help tease out what is happening. Is it due to, so for example, with learning disabilities, there's what we call a rule out clause. So the child not doing well should not be due to environmental factors or cultural issues or English as a second language. Those need to be ruled out, and diagnosis will do that.
So assessing and diagnosing the conditions or learning differences, right?
Yes, exactly. So the whole process starts with a referral, typically. It could be a referral from a parent. It could be a referral from a teacher. Or in colleges, it could be self-referred. So you make a referral. In schools, it's to the child study team.
Yes.
A team of individuals, and they conduct tests. And it's called a test battery. So they will look at your cognitive functioning, they'll look at your executive skills, they'll look at academic performance, and if needed, we'll look at also social and emotional regulation. The entire package can then possibly lead to a diagnosis of a disability. If you have that diagnosis, you have the legal protection.
Okay.
That's what parents should really know, especially my parents in the audience who are
Yes, South
related.
Asian parents are generally tend to be
Exactly.
clueless on this. Yes.
Exactly. See, just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean that information becomes automatically public to anyone and everyone, but it does entitle you to these rights.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
consider that when you are thinking that your child, you're going to not have your child get evaluated and so. And once they have a diagnosis in schools, there will be an intervention plan. Typically, it is a multi-tiered system of supports, is what it's called. It used to be, they would look at the response to intervention, etc. They'd also look at a positive behavior intervention, etc. But bottom line is, in schools, it is about success.
Yes.
College, about access. Parents need to know that.
Yes. Well, thank you for, bringing that to our attention. I had not realized that there were these legal, ramifications that would that are like the foundation for the for assessing and diagnosing conditions as well, and what that opens up. So thank you for that. And for folks just joining us, we're creating awareness about neurodiversity. You've tuned into Neurodiversity with Dr. Banerjee, brought to you by Landmark College, offering an integrated approach to teaching students who learn differently. Reach out to them today. They have a success center right here in the Bay Area. Reach out to them at landmark.edu/success center or call them at 408-505-4170. So, Sandra, as the director of Landmark College right here in the Bay Area, of course, representing Landmark, the main Landmark College in Vermont, give us your view on really what Landmark seeks to do in this area of neurodivergence, learning disabilities, and all of that.
Thank you. It's really exciting to be a part of what Landmark College is doing, and especially here on the West Coast in the Success Center. Landmark College was started in 1985, originally for students with learning differences. and has since expanded, and students from all over the U.S., the world attend. Dyslexia, ADHD, autism, as well as other executive function challenges and learning differences, and they do such a tremendous job supporting them. It's the only college of its kind that not only serves neurodiverse students, but it's alongside research and development. And there's also a rich LC Online web-based curriculum now as well. So really,
What
really,
is that? LC?
LC Online
Okay,
is
the online function. Okay.
it's an online program now offered through Landmark College. And, there's within the LC Online, there are an online dual enrollment program. There's a certificate program for educational professionals. So they have a there's even a college start, I should say, program, which is a first year at college program. And they've done a tremendous job building an online experience for neurodiverse students, again, with all walks of life. I think what's most interesting about Landmark College is the fact that once a neurodiverse student finds Landmark College, they really feel like they've found their community. It's no longer a difference. It is, instructors who understand learning work with neurodiverse students and staff people as well. So the experience on the campus is quite rich. And again, folks find their community there.
Yeah. So what's typically the approach of these learning specialists at Landmark, both in person and online?
Sure. So here on the West Coast, I'm just, again, thrilled to be here to share about the Success Center. We started about 3 years ago, and it really was the vision of the president of the college, Dr. Peter Eden, as well as Dr. Manju Banerjee in her role as vice president. She was an integral part in developing the Success Center and the services offered. And as they look to their vision, and Dr. Banerjee, please feel free to add if I miss anything, their vision was to bring to the West Coast the supports that are found on campus. There are a lot of Californians that go to Landmark College for education. There's a lot who do not, and it's strictly because of the distance. And so as a way to support the West Coast, again, the vision was to bring those supports found on campus. And again, in an effort to reflect what is taking place on campus, our learning specialists meet with neurodiverse teens, young adults, and adults seeking support in executive functioning, academic. And when I say executive functioning, I can be more specific. In the area of time management or organization or prioritization, if that's what they need, as well as academic support in the area of maybe some study skills, perhaps some college level reading and writing skills. In addition, there's a neurodiverse student that's thinking about transitioning to college, and what's that going to look like for them? Is that going to include organizing all their syllabi and all of their assignments that are coming up? So that's another way that we support. And then our most recent service that we offer is Peers Social Pragmatics Workshops, and that stands for the Program for Education and Enrichment of Relational Skills. And that's really a very social focused curriculum. It's done in a group setting. And the coaching that I described earlier, that's done in a one-on-one setting, quite personalized from the learning specialist.
I'm so glad that Landmark has brought all of its strong resource and all of its the tradition that it has followed here over to the Bay Area for the Bay Area community, and I call it the best kept secret right here, and that's why it's our mission to get the word out on Landmark. And thank you for being its director and spearheading that effort. So I appreciate that. So folks, empowering students and transforming education, that's Landmark College for you, a community designed exclusively for students who learn differently with the learning disability like dyslexia or ADHD or autism, and executive function challenges like Sandra mentioned. You can reach out to them today at landmark.edu/success center. Find out more about the Success Center in San Mateo, or just pick up the phone and call them. Oh, I'm dating myself, pick up the phone, but call them at 408-505-4170. That's 408-505-4170. So Dr. Banerjee, continuing our conversation on this, and Sandra, please feel free to really jump into this as well as you see it. But what really is your view of specialty and private schools and colleges for neurodiverse students like Landmark? How do they compare to mainstream or general education?
Yeah, another great question. So niche schools,
Yeah.
and in terms of schools, I can mention a few: Westmark School, Landmark School, Hilltop Prep, Fusion Academy, and so on. And then on the other side, for colleges, you have Landmark College. I think these niche schools and colleges have a really important part to play in our educational system. In fact, Landmark College, as Sandra was mentioning, in 1985, was started based on the premise that some of the students who graduate from high school are not yet ready to go to college. They need a special post-secondary environment where they can build on the strengths that they have and become ready to transition to post-secondary. So there's no question they have a niche. What I would advise my parents in the audience is consider these couple of things. Find out what is the mission of the institution. Are there staff and faculty who are neurodiverse themselves in the school or college? Talk to a student. Find out their transition numbers, how many of them are going on to college or to work, and so on. Talk to an alumni. And do not get discouraged if your son or daughter says, well, I don't want to go to a specialty school. Because as Sandra knows, we have heard that so many times. But once they get there, it is a life-changing experience. It is a transformative experience. And our graduation speeches are just so moving because students realize this is the place for them. And the last tip, yes, they are more expensive. There's a price tag compared to a public school, which might be free. But please ask about scholarships. Ask about in which you can send your son and daughter to a private school or a private college. So don't give up.
So don't rule it out just because of the monetary aspect. There are options and there are avenues to get by that.
It is an important part of our educational system. It leads to success and self-determination. We have the data for it at Landmark, so don't give up.
Well, very well put. Any thoughts, Sandra, on that aspect of having, specific colleges like Landmark, apart from the mainstream colleges?
As I mentioned before, I think, actually, I know that, individuals, when students go there, they find their community. This is a place that they connect with. It's in this beautiful, bucolic environment, and they're surrounded by supports. And so it's the support found with the advising, it's the support with the instructors, the staff. Everyone there understands the needs of neurodiverse students, and they're there to serve them. And Landmark College does it quite well.
So can educators refer neurodiverse students to the Success Center and address their support needs?
Absolutely, yes. We've built relationships with educational professionals who maybe they're college counselors who work strictly with the neurodiverse population. We have relationships with other educational professionals, schools, as well as parent support groups. So absolutely, we receive referrals from all different professionals in the education field.
So you don't have to be a full-time student at Landmark. You can come in from another institution as well.
That's really what the Success Center is here for, is to have those supports available to those. If they're attending Landmark College, that's great. But if not, they can also take advantage of our services. So although we've supported students doing online dual enrollment, as I mentioned earlier, or the Summer Bridge program, again, clients do not have to be current Landmark College students or even take a course through Landmark College. We have students attending UC Berkeley,
Oh.
UC Davis, community colleges throughout the peninsula, as well as, East Coast schools, Pace University on the East Coast. So individuals come to us, again, for various reasons, executive functioning or transitioning to college or some study skills perhaps, and they can be attending any college. Or as I mentioned earlier, we do support not only teens and young adults, but adults as well.
Yeah.
And our adults aren't going to college.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the working world.
Yeah.
So we would be supporting them as well, without being
To navigate the workplace and to help them
yes,
with
and
this.
to have them utilize the skills and translate that into their everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Organization, time management, those are things that can translate not only in a school environment, but a home environment as well. And yes, a work environment. So.
So there you have it, personalized assistance not found at most traditional colleges, degree programs for students, and professional training for educators. You have it all at Landmark College. All you have to do is to reach out to them at landmark.edu/success center or call them today at 408-505-4170. 408-505-4170. So, Sandra, tell me a little about what is, you're enrolling right now. Is it for both the online and the in-person programs?
Yes, so our learning specialists provide the support either online, and as I mentioned, we are in San Mateo. We're located in the Annex building on the Stanbridge Academy campus there in San Mateo, and that's where our in-person sessions take place. But we also meet online, and we meet either on Teams or on occasion we've met on Zoom, and we have what's called rolling enrollment. So folks can come to us at any time. And we do find that there is a cadence to interest, and usually starts around the beginning of the school year or semester, and then usually around midterm time. And then around finals time, folks tend to reach out to us as well. But again, those are folks that are in school. Otherwise, we have folks reaching out to us at any time.
Wow, excellent. Any message that you'd like to leave with our, South Asian community on how to address neurodiversity? Of course, we are going to do continued sessions on this, but in this program, through this medium, would you like to address our folks on how to address dyslexia, autism, ADHD, executive function challenges? And that's open to both you and Dr. Banerjee.
Vijay, I'll just jump in to say that the online dual enrollment and the Success Center has really helped to debunk the myth that neurodiverse students cannot learn online. They can. It's an issue of how you design the program, the courses, and the types of supports that are embedded within these courses. So please take a look at the information that Vijay is presenting. The programs that Sandra is talking about.
Yes. Yeah. Sandra, anything you'd like to add?
I think Dr. Banerjee put it quite well when she said debunking the myth. Absolutely. We have learning specialists that have particular strategies that they use only online because it's the best way for a neurodiverse client to digest whatever strategy or tool they are sharing. And so there's an expertise there. And it's just understanding the learner and not being afraid to try things. I think that's really what's been exciting about the Success Center is the ability of our learning specialists to pivot and respond to the needs of our clients. We're very much a strength-based approach, and I say strength-based model, and really a non-directive coaching approach. So they're working more as a facilitator and collaborator with the clients that we meet with, and it's really to look at helping them achieve their goals and address what their agenda may be. And again, as Dr. Banerjee expressed, the aim is really to build self-advocacy skills and self-direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, the expertise is there. All folks need is to tap into it. And a big thank you, Dr. Banerjee and Sandra Fischler, for helping us understand the scope and the resources available for students who learn differently. So thank you so much for joining us. And of course, Landmark College is on hand to help you every step of the way. If you are a neurodiverse student or the parent of one, visit landmark.edu/success center to learn more, or call them today at 408-505 4170. And join us for continued conversations every Thursday, 3:30 to 4 p.m. for another enlightening edition of Neurodiversity with Dr. Banerjee, brought to you by Landmark College. I'm RJ Vijaya. For now, keep on listening to Radio Zindagi. Jiye ja.